We have a whole apparatus. I have 40 analysts working full time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, monitoring extremists. We monitor them online, social media, messaging apps, video games, cryptocurrency, podcasts, short form video, Wikipedia, LLMs. We monitor these people and we share the intelligence with the FBI. So we're monitoring left-wing radicals like the DSA and the anti-war crazies and the pro-Palestine crazies. We're monitoring right-wing extremists like white supremacists, armed militia groups. We're monitoring political Islamists and Christian nationalists, all of them. And then we train. We're the largest trainer of law enforcement in America, extremism and hate. We train 20,000 officers every year.
Oh my God. I mean, look at all those admissions in there. So they're targeting people on the left and the right, DSA. If you're pro-Palestinian, you're getting targeted. If you're pro-peace, you're getting targeted. If you're on the right wing and they're just gonna call you Christian nationalist or whatever they're gonna call you, you're getting targeted. And you're all being infiltrated by a group supporting a foreign government. And this is not normal. This is not, they keep saying, oh, it's normal, everybody does it. Really? Does Finland do that? Are the Finnish infiltrating our groups on the left and the right and then working with the FBI and turning them in for what? For being Americans? For daring to support your own country rather than this country that has committed a genocide and apparently is infiltrating all of our groups and spying in on us and then working with our government to target us? That's insane. And then he brags about, oh yeah, we've got the police too. But remember, we have no influence and no control at all. But we're working with the FBI and the local police and we're targeting everyone who isn't pro-Israel and we're gonna get them. Okay, Jonathan, thank you for the confession. We appreciate it. That is disgusting. It is un-American. It's a betrayal of this country. And by the way, any police organization or the FBI working with these guys under the auspices of fighting anti-Semitism, when I think that in reality they're increasing anti-Semitism and they're all doing it for the benefit of a foreign country. If you're working for a foreign country, there's a word for that. It's called traitor. And I don't care if it's Sweden or Israel or Bolivia, it doesn't matter. But it isn't Bolivia, Sabby, is it? It isn't Kazakhstan, it isn't South Korea, it's Israel. And every time you say, just repeat what they just said, they go, how dare you? We're allowed to say it and we're allowed to spy and infiltrate and try to get you, take your freedom away. But if you dare repeat my own quotes, anti-Semite, FBI investigate him. I mean, so Sabby, you've probably been investigated because they said social media, podcast, short form video, that covers all of us. So yeah, I might be high enough on the list that I literally get banned from countries and they put me on top 10 lists. And so I know exactly how it feels to be targeted by Israel inside your own country. But the reality is apparently almost all of us are targeted. I think this is one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen. What do you think?
We're gonna have to cross political lines for this one, guys. Like you can't, like this is a time you have to put political, your political party aside. This is impacting every single one of us that criticize Israel. So this is not about left and right now. This is very serious. And as you can see, they're trying to take more and more of our freedoms away. And it's scary, it's very concerning. I've been warning people about these online groups. I would tell everybody, be very careful. I don't think any of these platforms are confidential. I don't think your Twitter or your X DMs are confidential either. I think all of these things can be seen. That includes Telegram, that includes Signal, these other messaging apps that people use as well. I don't think anything there is actually private. And so you have to be careful when you're in these online forums, in these groups. You don't really always know who you're talking to. And sometimes there are accounts that come in that try to stir up that type of energy and try to pull information so that you might end up on that list as well. That list originally started out from Marco Rubio, started out with those that went to Cuba to do humanitarian aid there, like Code Pink, Medea Benjamin, and all of them. But interestingly enough, all of those people and organizations that are there also criticize Israel. So I think that's the big key there. I don't think it's just about Cuba. And if they come after them, if they start to defund them and debank these organizations, they can take down anyone. So I think that's the way they're going to try to get people to be quiet and zip their lip about their criticism of Israel. If they take your money, then they take your freedom.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go for debanking. We've shown that in other videos. And Jonathan Greenblatt's at the head of that parade as well. We're going to take away your money, but we don't control anything. The Israelis don't control anything. We're going to pretend that all Jews are on our side and you're all anti-Semites, even though 63% of Jewish Americans don't agree with Jonathan Greenblatt. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's not working for Jewish Americans. He's working for Israel. And so, he says, oh, all of this is just conspiratorial. It's all anti-Semitic. Everything is anti-Semitic, and you'll be punished, Jonathan Greenblatt says. And we're working with the FBI to punish you. He looks like a monster, honestly. And then he'll cry and cry. Oh no, I get to spy in on you. I get to take away your rights. But if you call me a monster, anti-Semite, destroy him, right? Right, Jonathan? He loves to destroy people who don't work for Israel. And there's these thugs, what I would call a terrorist network inside our country that are trying to terrorize any American who doesn't kneel to Israel. They also have StopAntisemitism.com and Canary Mission, these disgusting organizations that attack your family if you criticize Israel, and they think they're totally within their rights. Let's get their husbands and wives fired and destroy them. And we showed you the lady who runs StopAntisemitism.com went with giant Israeli flags all around her, saying we're tracking and monitoring and we're gonna get them, just like Jonathan Greenblatt. If you watch this show for 5 minutes, you know how we feel about systems built to confuse people so someone else can profit. Medicare is the same kind of maze, whether you're on it now or helping a parent through it. And before the comments start, don't you guys want Medicare for all? Why promote a private company? Well, until we get the system we actually want, which is definitely Medicare for all, people still have to survive on the one we've got right now. And most people helping them get paid more to steer them wrong. Same rigged incentive we cover here every day. That's why we work with Chapter, independent Medicare advisors who are honest, not paid to push one plan over another. They're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide completely free. Take Chip, a member of our audience. His old broker milked him for commissions. He called Chapter instead, found a better plan, and now saves over $100 a month. And if you're already on the best plan for you, Chapter will tell you straight, no upsell. Get help against the rigged system. Call Chapter for free under 20 minutes at 805-201-2275. That's 805-201-2275. So, and then he'll go, oh, I'm gonna hide behind anti-Semitism, and watch him say this about the war, for example.
Just look at what happened in the days after the US and Israel launched the military operations against Iran. I mean, whatever your views on the conflict might be, and reasonable people can hold very reasonable differences. What happened next was not about policy. It wasn't about geopolitics. It was about blame. And the blame, as it so often does, was placed at the feet of who else? The Jews. For some, they pointed fingers at the Israelis who they claimed whispered a few too many times in President Trump's ear. For the senior senator from Maryland, a state with one of the most large, most active, most observant Jewish populations in America, he blamed AIPAC, which he slandered as un-American.
He said, and you know what did they do? They blamed the Jews. No, literally no one blamed the Jews. Maybe some groypers, but no one on the left blamed the Jews. You made that up. In fact, he's hiding behind Jewish Americans. He's using them as human shields. No, the people that were blamed was the Israeli government. But he doesn't want you to blame the Israeli government. He would much rather have you blame Jews in America, because then he could use that as a device to protect his beloved Israel. Oh, Jews are gonna get harmed in the way? He doesn't care at all. As long as Israel is protected. I'm very curious about his coordination with the Israeli government. So very, very curious. I don't know if we'll ever have an honest president who doesn't spy in on Americans, but actually protects our country and finds out who's actually coordinating with foreign countries to betray us, including Jewish Americans. So which evil anti-Semites blamed Israel for the war? Well, let's find out.
The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond and respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
So that's Marco Rubio, who got paid $5 million in campaign contributions from Larry Ellison, the #1 donor to the IDF. Larry Ellison reported back to the Israeli ambassador that Rubio is now going to be completely pro-Israel and support whatever Israel wants. And even he said it was Israel. The New York Times said that it was Israel, Netanyahu in the Situation Room, the head of Mossad on Zoom, convincing Trump that they couldn't block the Strait of Hormuz, that regime change would be easy. The same thing the Israelis have, yes, whispered in the ears of Trump and Biden and all of our presidents. Yes, AIPAC and the Israeli lobby, #1 lifetime donor to Joe Biden, Mike Johnson, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Donald Trump. And then they all pretend, oh no, you're all anti-Semites. No, Sabby, what I see is a disgusting foreign operation to infiltrate this country and try to make sure that we are supporting with all of our military might and all of our money and all of our resources a different country. I think that someone should be investigated, and it isn't us. It's the traitors who are working for Israel and then having the temerity to use our own police against us on behalf of Israel.
Right, and this is where we're at now. I wanna remind everyone that Israel has universal health care. We don't. I mean, it's just, we are not taking care of our people here. We're not taking care of our infrastructure. This country economically is not heading in the right direction. But there's so much interest in worrying about what works for Israel and what people in Israel need. And I don't see any other country, anyone with a sane mind, why would you put another country's needs before your own, before your people are taken care of? But this is the trick that they're doing. The thing is now, even if you try to just say, well, I'm just criticizing the government, the message that is being sent is that if you're criticizing even just the government, you're still criticizing Israel. Therefore, that is anti-Semitic. It's a trick. Now, luckily, I think most people nowadays are not falling for it, and that's another thing. Israel was really panicking right now in a sense that they've lost worldwide support. Meanwhile, you have these leaders in some of these countries that may support Israel, but if you talk to the people on the ground, a lot of the people on the ground do not support Israel and don't support this war with Iran. They are losing their foothold a little bit here. And that's why you see them trying to implement these policies and these restrictions to kind of get everybody back into the camp, because they're terrified now, because for the first time ever in my life, the majority of Americans don't support Israel. For the first time ever in my life. And they're not used to that. So now they're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? And they've tried so many different types of propaganda information out there to get people back in favor of Israel, but it's just not working. They're gonna come for social media next. And I warn everybody about this. It's only a matter of time before they start to censor social media. You're not gonna be allowed to criticize the government of Israel on social media. But that's only if I say we don't try to do something about it. I think one of the things that we can do, I think those pro-Palestinian protests was a great step in the right direction. That went on for 2 years. I think we need a movement across this country. I think that movement needs to be at least 5% of the population to be effective. And I think that movement needs to be centered around, obviously, ending the wars and supporting the economic issues that we need in this country. In other words, We need an anti-war class movement. And so if we can get hundreds of thousands of people out in the street, for pro-Palestine and other issues, we really need to get millions out in the street for this. Otherwise, we will remain to be silenced. I mean, we really got to push back on it. The way people are pushing back on the flock cameras, that's great. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, like, the data centers are basically surveillance centers, guys. That's really what this is. So all of the rural communities that are rising up and they say, get rid of the flock cameras, get rid of these data centers, they're in the right because they know what's coming. So I just hope that at some point in this country, we could have a massive movement for these issues.
Yeah, last two quick things here. National media is on the other side. So they see all these same videos we do. They will never cover them because that would hurt their beloved Israel. So they're the most biased people in America. They're the least factual, the least objective. And so everything they do is in defense of Israel. And to them, of course, Israel gets to spy in on you. How dare you? And they're the #1 people who help people like Jonathan Greenblatt call Americans on the left and the right anti-Semites. They're the ones attacking and trying to destroy people on behalf of Israel. Okay, but I need everyone to understand the most important thing, guys, is we have to break the cycle of hatred. So do not give in to these people like Jonathan Greenblatt. We have to stick together as Christian, Muslim, Jewish Americans, atheists, all of us, okay? So stay together as Americans, do not hate one another, do not ever blame Jewish people for this. There is a small group of radical Zionists in this country. They are a minority among Jewish Americans, and they are obsessed. They have a religious fever, but it isn't about religion. It's ironically about nationalism. Nationalism of Israel, Zionism above all. And if they have to destroy America, political organizations on the left, the right, they have to endanger Jewish Americans, they don't care. That's why they're radicals. And they're trying to terrorize all of us, by the way, including, again, Jewish Americans that get put on lists of self-haters. And then they're like, no, you don't count as a Jew. I've seen them say it 1,000 times. It's time that we all stood up against it and said, enough, enough. This is America, where we're all together and we love each other. If you want to try to spread division and hatred, yes, there is unfortunately these days, there is a country for that. It's Israel. There's many countries for that, unfortunately. So, religious fundamentalist countries like Saudi Arabia and Israel, who say, yes, only our religion. God promised everything to us, and we should crush everyone else. Well, that's the exact opposite of America, where we say we're all united, we're all together, there's no one above others, and we have equal rights. So let's stick together and make sure that we protect this country and all of us here, not just some of us.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.